Good morning. Good morning, beautiful tribe. It's Karina. And I just got ready for work this morning. I'm about to go see some clients, and my kids are getting ready for school. And as I was meditating this morning and getting ready, and I have a routine that I do in the mornings, and that helps me center and sense what my intention for the day is, or connect to my intention for the day. Um, I felt inspired and actually compelled to make this video about how do we rise up when we feel stuck in negative emotion. So many of us in this group are very heart-centered people. You might identify yourself as being sensitive. And many of you are very empathic, and some of you or many of you are artistically inclined. And I am too. And so we tend to be very feelingful people. And that's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing when we can keep our emotional kind of reactions and responses. If we can keep, I should say just reactions, if we could keep our emotional world in place, then we can actually really thrive in life with these big hearts, with this sensitivity. So if you're someone who feels like your sensitivity and your sort of empathic nature and the way that you might even identify a lot with other people's emotional states and such, and you feel like this keeps you back from really thriving in life, then keep watching, because this is for you, especially for you. So before we dive into the content, we'll just take a deep breath in through our nose. Exhale, sigh it out. And setting that intention to receive whatever you're needing today to help you, move towards greater joy in your relationships, to help you cultivate that self-love that you're needing to activate the healthy changes that you're needing to make in your life, and to receive the clarity, the focus, and the confidence to make your dreams happen. Hi, if you're joining me right now live, go ahead and comment. Just say hi so I know you're here. So how do we do this? Like, if we're really feelingful people, a lot of the problem stems from this, not the problem, but the struggle stems from this thing that a lot of us heart-centered people tend to believe, that our emotions are what our emotions are calling us to do is truth. Like, just because we feel it, and this is so crazy, like, I'm not crazy, but some of you might be like, huh? Because just because we feel it doesn't make it true. Just because we feel it doesn't necessarily mean we should believe it. Let me explain this. What holds us back is negative emotion, right? So fear, it's a big one. Anxiety, right? So many of us have kind of a chronic sense of anxiety. Sadness, despair, hopelessness, depression, these kind of negative, like irritation and resentment too. These are heavy negative emotions that are really natural to the human experience. But we can get into the place of taking it too freaking seriously. It's like, this is a good example. I had something happen yesterday. And I don't want to go into a lot of detail about it because it's pretty fresh and I'm not really comfortable getting into the particulars of it. But let's just say my feelings got hurt. Something happened. I was left out of something, and it triggered some old feelings of guilt, and a belief that, I'm not a good friend, and that I've done wrong. And this belief that this is very transparent and personal, but this belief that I'm not a good friend, or I'm not a good enough friend, and I don't show up for my friends the way that I'm supposed to or need to, which is a bunch of bullshit, because if you're my friend, I'm imperfect, I'm not perfect, but I tend to, just hang out with people who I'm really resonant with, and when I'm present, I'm really present. So I'm not a perfect friend, but I'm certainly a good enough friend, and a belief that I practice is I am a good enough friend. because of this thing, this old belief. And this belief that I'm not a good friend got really kicked up yesterday, and I felt guilt, I felt sadness, I felt like doubt, like, am I supposed to do something about this situation? And if I had stopped there, if I had just gotten up into my guilt, for example, I wouldn't be making this video today. I'd probably just want to stay in bed. And the reason that I was able to overcome these feelings is because I'm able to keep them in their place. I'm able to take care of my emotions and realize at the same time that those negative emotions are coming from old beliefs that I took on, some of them even before I could talk. And that's true for some of you too. And so just because we feel it doesn't make it true. Just because I felt guilty doesn't mean that the belief that was fueling the guilt that I'm not a good friend is true. And because of the work that I do on myself, and I know many of you do a lot of work on yourselves as well, I was able to see that and feel it. So what we do is, it's like when we're in the grips of negative emotions. I hope this is resonant for you. If you're in the grips, even right now, if there's a negative emotion present, notice what it is. And then this is the place where we often get stuck. When negative emotion comes up, we don't know how to work with it. We either believe it wholeheartedly and start to get all wrapped up in it. We get overcome by it. Or we try to push it away and we defend, or like I could have just gotten on the phone with some people that, this is an old situation from years ago, and I could have gotten on the phone and started talking to people and like complaining or defending or asking them, what do you think, and that's such a time waste and a time suck, and I don't do that anymore. Like, I really, really make it a point as best as I can not to gossip and not to complain about shit, because seriously, like, it's a waste of my time and my energy. Like, I have better things to do, and so do you. Like, you have a big difference that you're needing, that and maybe not a big difference, but yeah, all of you have an impact, a calling that you're on your way to fulfilling, whether you believe that or not. Some of you are more in touch with that than others. And if you let these, so let me get back to how we work with it. So guilt came up, right? Let's just take that. Maybe you have some guilt around something right now. In order to free yourself from the limiting emotions, like, ask yourself, what is this guilt believing? First, let yourself feel it. Don't fight it. Just like feel it. Notice what's its texture? Is it grip in the heart? Is it in your solar plexus? A lot of times we can feel that right in the solar plexus. Is it in the throat? You can put your hand on your heart. I just am doing that automatically and taking a deep breath in. And then asking, what is this believing? And like the example for me was, the belief was, I'm not a good friend. And then if I go deeper, it's like, I'm a bad person. I'm selfish. I'm self-centered. Okay, and then just naming that, like noticing that. But in the mindfulness, you guys, naming what's true is so freaking powerful. This is how we really get to know ourselves. But in the naming of what's arising, naming what's here, it doesn't mean, so as I name that belief, then I can question it. Is it true that I'm not a good friend? Like right away I know, no. This is my belief work, no. And if you're a client of mine, you know, because we walk through this belief work. So it's not true. And then I can move forward, like, I see you, guilt. I recognize you're here. And I'm not going to feed that story. That's an old story from the past. My son's coming up the stairs. It's time for me to get breakfast ready. So what's the next step after we claim the emotion? Step 1, step 2, incline the mind towards what you want. Incline the mind. As a matter of fact, incline the mind off of that whole story because it's not going to serve you. And just begin to focus on your breath. Begin to find some neutralness. Hey babe, I'm just making a video. I'm about to finish. You want to say hi? This is Arthur.
Hi.
Oh, okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just wrapping it up, okay? And then I'm going to finish breakfast. And then after that, move off of it. Like, stop feeding those negative thoughts. Breathe into the feeling. Bring kindness to the feeling. But don't let it take you down. Don't let it take you down. It's an old story from the past. It's not who you are anymore. It really isn't who you are anymore. You do not have to live under the weight of old beliefs and the negative emotions that are attached to them. And that doesn't mean that you don't experience them. They will still come up. They will still come up. So recognize, allow, investigate. This is just simple rain practice from Tara Brach. And then incline towards something different, move towards something new. And actually use that as fuel for your awakening. And starting to move towards what you believe to be true now. I am a good friend. Start to activate something different. Start to move forward from a place of, this is who I am now. That was then, this is now. And see what happens. See what happens. Don't let those things stop you in your life. And if you do, it's okay, but don't wallow in it. Move on, move forward. And so I hope this served you today. And if you're dealing with anything that's kind of sticky and negative, I invite you to kind of work with this process and let me know how it goes. Like, comment below. And sense what it's like to really begin to free yourself from the shackles. We think that to be free from the shackles shouldn't be there, and that's bullshit, and I'll call it right now. The shackles, we can't free ourselves from the shackles if we don't see them. The shackles of guilt rose up within me, and I saw them, and now I'm liberated. Do you see that? Don't stop trying to keep all this stuff down. Don't try to keep it down. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight it. Let it come up. Don't resist. Notice it. And then when you notice it, it's a great opportunity to begin to investigate it. What does it feel like? Can I allow it with compassion? Can I name what it's believing? And now, how do I want to move forward from an empowered place? You know, how do I show up as a competent mother, as a good friend, as a inspired leader, using those kind of that straw. This is how we spin straw into gold in our inner world. So I hope that was helpful. Again, like or comment this video, like or comment below. Let me know how it goes for you today. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, and I'll talk to you soon. Sending you so much love and many blessings. Namaste.